Hello, this is Sarge, and this is your Penny.com Health Minute. Penny.com is Pennsylvania's new health insurance marketplace. This healthcare marketplace was created to replace healthcare.gov and will potentially allow people who reside in Pennsylvania an opportunity to save money and lower premiums. Penny.com includes commercial insurance plans from the big name insurance companies. A no wrong door policy, meaning that if you don't have insurance from your job, you can join Penny. Penny.com aims to make it simple for all Pennsylvanians to get healthcare insurance. The COVID-19 enrollment period is open to Pennsylvanians who need health coverage from now until August 15th. And whether you are new to Penny or you are already enrolled in coverage through Penny.com, you can use the COVID-19 enrollment period to ensure you have the coverage you need. No matter your personal situation, Penny.com is here to get you covered during difficult times. This is the Sarge. This was your Penny.com Health Minute.
So guys, we are here at the Christmas X Community Center for the Mayoral debate for Lancaster City. We are live streaming. Before we get started, they can't hear, can they hear me? They can't hear me here, but, okay. There we go. Thank you.
Maybe I'll sit up here and pass it down.
All right, awesome. All right, so, good evening, everyone. No. Right, I'm gonna have to do this like we do the young people. Good evening, everyone. Yes, we should be excited, right? Because we're talking about changing our city, the future of our city. You know, if you ever sat back and sit and wonder, like, how did this happen? How did this come to be? Well, it's situations like this, debates like this that answer those questions. So thank all of you for being here today, for coming out. We are still in the pandemic, so shouts out to all of you for coming out today. We will be taking live questions from our live chat on Facebook, and we will also be taking live questions from our audience members. So to get started, I do want to welcome Mr. Paul Colberth to come up here and do the welcome for us. Oh, all right.
Yes, usually at NAM we always pray. I really don't want to offend anybody in their beliefs, so I'm going to ask if we can bow our heads for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So, as we get started this evening, I do want to thank the National Action Network for hosting and organizing today's event. We are here tonight at Crispus Attucks Community Center for the future of our beloved city. Tonight, Nan has just so wonderfully organized all of this, because I don't know if you guys have organized such an event, but this does take time and effort and coordination to get everybody in the room together at the same time. So shouts out to them for doing this. We will have our opening statements by our candidates. They will have a minute and a half to speak. They will also have a minute and a half to respond to your questions and your concerns. We are looking for both candidates to answer the questions. So let's get started. We'll get started with our opening statements from our candidates.
Good evening, everyone. It is so good to be with all of you. I am Deneen Sirachi, Mayor of the City of Lancaster, and I'd like to thank the National Action Network for organizing, to Crispus Attucks for hosting, and to TCP for moderating and streaming, and a special thanks to my husband. We've been through it, working together for 30 years, and I'm really grateful for you. Thank you, honey. I can't believe it's been 4 years already. A lot has happened in 4 years. and especially since COVID and the murder of George Floyd. I'm eager to talk with you tonight, to hear your questions and your concerns, and to share with you some of the ways that I have and will continue to work on behalf of each of you, your families, your neighborhood, your city. I want to begin by saying what an honor it has been to serve as your mayor. I'm not going to lie and say that it has been easy. It has not. However, it has been incredibly rewarding to work alongside each of the organizations, churches, and a truly dedicated team of city staff. And most importantly, residents like all of you to achieve our vision of building a stronger and more equitable city for everyone. From the beginning, we focused on strong neighborhoods, and that work started here in the Southeast. I'm looking for you over here with the yellow. These efforts continued in Juniata, South Lime, Rockland, and more, and subsequently we've helped to address concerns, everything from housing quality, streets, trash, parking, parks, and more. Tonight, in fact, our team is on the 500 block of Pershing to implement a project with mini trash cans to address concerns about littering, and as well as lighting. And I'm really excited to be able to talk more about all of the work that we've been doing. But additionally, I just want to say that while we've accomplished a lot, there's a lot more work to be done, which is why I'm running again. And I'm really here tonight for 3 reasons: to hear your questions and your concerns, to share more about what we've accomplished and the work that remains, and to continue to partner with all of you to realize the dreams that we have for this community, our community. So thank you again. I look forward to being part of this discussion tonight, and I will turn it over to Reverend Willie Schell.
Good evening, everyone. We want to thank Christmas Attic for hosting this event, but I also want to introduce myself. My name is Willie E. Schell Sr. I would like to thank all of the independent, the Republicans, and Democrat voters that signed my petition, that stand with me to make this possible. I also would like to thank Nan for hosting this event, along with TCP Network, and all of you for coming out. As many of you know, I have been a member of Lancaster community for over 40 years. I have tried to do my part as a community member. During the last 40 plus years, I helped organize credit union. I created jobs, opportunities through my business. I have had the opportunity for the last 40 years to watch the city go through many changes, some good and some bad. But regardless, I've loved this city and the people in this city. I believe Lancaster is a great place to live. Unfortunately, there are some parts of the city that are not given the same opportunity for growth as the rest of the city. This has been going on far too long, and I believe it's time to change that. It is time to bring all parts of the city together so we can grow together. I ask that you stand with me as I fight for all parts of Lancaster City, and together we can make history. And in my statement, I just want to say that, as the late Dr. Martin Luther King say, unless we all grow together, we all perish together. Thank you.
Thank you so much to both of our candidates. That was exciting. I'm a little riled up. Y'all a little riled up? It's like campaign speeches, right? Yeah, you should be excited because voting is exciting. Like if you sit there and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so tired of these potholes. Voting makes the difference. If you sit up here and you say, oh, I'm looking at my check, who's FICA, who's Sue, what's this SUI? Voting makes a difference, right? So if you, for our civically challenged viewers who may be watching live on the stream, I do want to share with you that you need to register to vote if you are not already registered by October 19th. So go on ahead and make those moves. So I do just want to plug that before we go. Also, if you are unsure about your voting status, go on ahead and call 1-800-PA-VOTES. I'm sorry, 1-800-VOTES-PA. And there you can actually learn about your voting status. So as we continue on tonight, I want to go on ahead and take some questions from our audience members who are live here at Crispus Attucks Community Center. So if I have anybody here in the audience that has some questions for our candidates, please speak now. All right, well, I'll give you guys some time to think about it. I do have some questions here on the stream. Corinne Hill has asked, how have you worked on equitable and affordable housing?
So so I'm being equitable. Do you want me to start answering with every question, or would you like to do a back and forth? Okay, so would you like me to start with this one? Okay. All righty. So, equitable and affordable housing is a major need in our community. We know that we need more affordable housing, and we know that we are under-resourced in terms of the number of housing units that are available in the city of Lancaster. We also know that we're 7.3 square miles, and 88% of our land is already consumed with residential property. So we have a big challenge both in terms of space, but the biggest challenge is also in terms of money. We put $2.5 million into affordable housing last year alone. We are in the process of working through with City Council right now an additional $5 million investment. We're looking at affordable housing in a variety of ways, both in terms of producing new housing, and have very exciting news in terms of the number of new affordable units that are coming to fruition. There are more affordable units coming to fruition under my administration than have happened in the last 50 years. And it is still not enough. I want to be clear about that. There are more units coming online and being funded through my administration than has happened in the past 50 years, and we still need more. And so I am very aware of this, and we are working right now with an interim housing plan that was presented last night, or Tuesday night, at City Council, and working to advance that in combination with a lot of partners, including partners here in the Southeast, for whom we have worked and partnered on Pershing Avenue, Green Street, Chesapeake, and more. And that's my time. I'm going to honor that red sign back there, Darlene, and pass it along.
Same question. As a resident of the Southeast area and working throughout the city, I have worked with several organizations as far as trying to help people get into housing. One of the things that I can say that as I've been canvassing from block to block, we have so many empty houses in the Southeast area and throughout the city. And as mayor, I would authorize my administration to go and to research and see who own these properties that are boarded up, condemned, and see how we can work with those homeowners and see how we can get them either to allow us to come in and partner with them to put these houses back into use into the community, or if they want to sell them and then partner with people in the community, landlords of rebuilding, and sell those houses to them so that we can put them back in the community.
All right, do we have any questions? So we do have some questions from our audience members. Ma'am, throw on the blank. Can you stand up your name and what community you live in? Yes.
Well, I see affordable houses that when someone that can afford it. For instance, let me just use my own personally. When I first bought my house, it wasn't affordable to me. But I worked, and it took two of my paychecks in order to pay my mortgage. So I think that what we need to do is make sure that we get businesses in the community, raise the, so that they can pay higher wages than the minimum state wage set now, federal government wages set now, so that people can be able to afford their houses. And I think that's one of the, when it comes down to, you need to make at least, I would say, as an AMI, between $45,000 and $50,000 a year. Now, when I first started, that was completely not out in the ballpark. I think if I made $15,000 for the year, that was great. But it took two payments, two paychecks to pay for my mortgage.
The easiest way that I know how to describe this is to say whatever you're earning, you should not be paying more than 30% of whatever you are earning on your housing costs. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about affordable housing. And there are different bands of affordable housing. There's very low income. For those folks who are disabled and who otherwise cannot work, and they need an incredible amount of subsidy, and they deserve to have that because of their disability or so on. Then there's low, which is more than you would ascribe to somebody who's able to pay 30% of their income. And then there's the median. And so median to me is 30%. That is something that has been challenged because the price of housing has gone up faster than our wages. And that has happened for decades, which is why the housing crisis that we're in now is no surprise, and it's happening in communities across the country. And back to a point that Whitney made, which is why voting is so important. The policies that are made at the federal government are directly affecting residents in this community. We have not seen investment in new affordable housing. What do we buy for $2.4 million that comes from the federal government to the city? Not enough. We need more investment, and that is why it's very important for us to be advocating at the state and federal levels for those investments.
To our candidates. Do we have any other questions from our, yes.
With quality of life. So for example, in the downtown city area, I see that there's a lot of homeless people. And I know they have a lot of problems. I know that it's gotten better than it was before, but still they're out there. I'll use an example as the West Fargo Bank. At night, that's like a hotel. That's one part. And the other part, I live on Lehigh Avenue. And I think it's very good that a lot of neighborhoods have these cameras that help out, fighting crime. Thank God my neighborhood, I think, is real nice, real quiet. I live right in front of McCaskey, but we don't have no cameras around there. And that McCaskey Avenue, they fixed all the other streets. That street is never fixed. And I've been living there for like 5 years. And it's, it's kind of dark at night. Thank God, once again, it's a quiet neighborhood, but everybody should be able to get everything that every other place has. But I want to say that I see the city has been growing a lot better the last 4 years, not because you're the mayor, but I must admit you've been working hard. Thank you.
Okay, homelessness. Boy, we have spent so much time working to address homelessness in our community, and quite frankly, a lot of money. We've added new outreach workers. We've just hired Sarita, who is a downtown, we're funding this position through federal dollars, and she is working downtown to help with the folks that you're seeing at Wells Fargo. There's also a partnership with Lanco My Home. Lanco My Home is the organization that organizes and manages homeless services and outreach services. We've funded additional homeless outreach workers that are working with Lanco My Home. We established the first day shelter in the city of Lancaster, and a lot of that was born out of COVID and the need to respond quickly. We've also, with our police department, implemented an advanced second chance program, so that if there is somebody who's suffering from addiction and they have an encounter with the police, that there's an opportunity for them to go to rehab and to get connected to rehabilitation services. I'm going to use all my time to talk about the homelessness issue, but I want you to come back to the quality of life, because paving, street paving, and all of those issues deserve more than what I've got left now, and I'm seeing the flag being raised. In addition, related to the homelessness services, I think we have to always remember that we're dealing with a combination of mental health and often drug and alcohol issues, and often people who are not from the city of Lancaster. And so they don't have the resources and the connections that many of us do in terms of a support network to help them. And so that's why we need to be on the street with them in the ways that we are.
Just to, on your two-part question, as far as the homeless, as mayor of the city, I would bring all the faith-based peoples, businesses, psychologists, Water Street Mission, Teen Haven, and see how we can bring, implement more programs to not only just to assist them, but move them from one position to the next one in order to help them get back into society. A lot of those people, all they need is just a helping hand. And so they need just an alternative. I work with a lot of homeless people. I work with a lot of people that came to Lancaster, as you heard me say in my opening statement. In my business, I help a lot of homeless people that today they are driving city buses, they own their own home, they also have jobs. So that will be, I've done this before, I know how to do that, and this will be what I would do. The second thing that, as also you heard me say in my opening statement, for 40 years I've lived in the Southeast area, and I can agree with you that the streets throughout the Southeast area, some of them have not been touched in the last 50 years.
And thank you to our live studio audience for your questions. Does anybody else in the audience have any questions? All right. So recently, Mayor Srirachi, you increased the police budget. Now, with the George Floyd killing and everything like that, I know that a lot of people were kind of heartbroken about that. Can you share with us how you hope that that increased budget helps to change our policing system? And for Mr. Shell, could you share with us what you would do with our police budget?
Well, I'm not sure about that. We increased the budget of the police, I think it was like 1% last year. So I just want to be clear about that. What we have done as part of our policing is add 2 police social workers. We've hired a new police chief. Let's start with that. We've changed the use of force policy. We are doing a complete review of our internal affairs. We've trained all of our officers in de-escalation. We just got a grant this week to launch a crisis intervention team that would be a co-responder model to support our police in going out and responding to crises. And that would be paired with a police social worker. All of our police officers are being trained in crisis intervention in partnership with the county probation and parole. And what else can I tell you? We are partnering also with Georgetown University and the county to implement an initiative about reducing racial and ethnic disparities in juvenile justice, and that starts with our police department. And so we have not increased the police budget. In fact, we have held that budget, and we are working to make the kinds of reforms and changes that I started in 2018. And let me also just say that after the murder of George Floyd, were renewed on the streets of the city on June the 5th. And that was after a week of protests in which I was on the street standing with some of the folks that are in this room to advocate for those changes.
Can you repeat the question? Well, first of all, I would just like to say, as a father of police, son who had, father, I have a son on the police force. I also have a nephew on the police force. One of the things that I would do with the budget is make sure that the police officer that have intense training. We are a very diverse city, and the most of the police officers that are hired are not from within the city. And they need intense training how to deal with peoples of color in this community. That would be my number one. I know we do need police in the city, and it's nothing more than to have good police protection in the city. And I think the main thing is to make sure that they know how to deal with people of color in this community, because they are not hired. They do not live in the community, and they are hired to come into the community and to police us. So that's how, number one, I would deal with it.
Awesome. Thank you so much to both of our candidates for your responses. Before I move forward with any additional questions, do we have any questions from our audience members? Yep. Yep. If you can state your name and what part of the city you live in. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Let me just say, if you elect me as mayor, I will make sure that all parts of the city are given the same equal amount, not just some parts. Just the other couple of weeks ago, I was at two events. One was here in the southeast area, and one was in the northeast. Down here, they served us ice cream on a little sugar cone. I went over to the other event. They served the big wafer cone, and they filled it up with salt ice cream. So they give us crumbs down here, and over there they give us steak. If mayor of the city, I will make sure that we get just the same equal as all parts of the city.
Derek, thank you for that question and for being interested in how we're spending the community development block grant. And you're right, it has changed a lot over the years. And we have made changes even from the last administration to more equitably invest those dollars. And the majority of our CDBG dollars actually goes to our home, our process of ensuring affordable homes. And what I mean by that is through critical repair. There's dollars in there for critical repair. And it also supports our housing inspections. So our housing inspection program is throughout the entirety of the city, and we continue to work to address housing needs. We've also just hired a housing social worker to support folks who need help, who are dealing with all kinds of issues and problems in their homes. So for example, there are a couple of current situations in the Southeast where the housing has become inhabitable for a variety of reasons. And so we're working with those families to make sure that they have housing now in a hotel program. We've launched an eviction prevention fund network, and we funded it. And so we are using CDBG dollars to support housing needs most specifically, because that is one of our most pressing needs, and you know it as well as I. And we can talk about and participate, and I encourage you all to participate in that process. There is a process that is presented to City Council, and we can also do a better job of making sure that you know when that presentation is happening. We do a lot of community outreach to make sure that our consolidated plan that we present for those dollars is being directed and targeted in the city, in the places that needs the most. And I'll be happy to share with you those details as well.
Before I move to social media, do we have any other questions from our audience members? All right, so there's a concern about employment in the city of Lancaster. We have so many residents who either cannot find jobs, or once they are able to find jobs, the issue then becomes how to get to said job. What are your ideas on accessibility to employment?
That's such a great question, and wow, are things changing so fast now related to employment? Because now I can't go anywhere without seeing a for hire sign. And we have to think about what are the quality of those jobs, right? A lot of the jobs that are in our county, in our region, are considered low quality jobs. They don't give benefits, they don't provide paid vacation, and you don't get a paycheck every 2 weeks. You might work seasonally. And so one of the things that we have been working towards, and what the data show us, is that we really need to focus on moms, single moms who live in this neighborhood and in our city, to make sure that they can be elevated through workforce programs to get better jobs. And so while I would say that transportation is a factor, it's not the #1 factor, because most residents in the city of Lancaster actually do have cars. The problem is that can they afford to maintain that car over time, and can they afford to pay their rent? Because while they're working, and very hardworking people, there is not enough hours in the day to work when you're not getting paid well, and you don't have the skills that you need for the jobs of tomorrow. And that's really what we want to focus on, and helping moms in particular, because that has a dividend. We know that families who have one income earner or 2 income earners can make a difference for their child long term.
Will you repeat the question?
Access to employment. How would you help make employment more accessible for residents?
Well, again, let me just state that, as the mayor said, that when you ride out through the north side out to the county, you see a lot of signs where they are hiring. But then when you ride down in the southeast area, you find a lot of empty buildings that could be used for small manufacturing. What I would do, I would reach out to businesses, people that are looking to start their businesses, and bring them in and start small companies within these areas, in these buildings that are empty. There are several buildings that are empty that could be used to employ people. And one of the things that we do know, that we have the highest unemployment in the southeast area, and we need, and the reason for that is a lot of people do not have transportation. A lot of people need looking for work but don't have the means to get there. So, but if you had these jobs in the community where they could walk to these jobs, small manufacturing, then we can also help build our community. That also, when we build our community through jobs, that also help give us a better relationship, that also help brings up our community, as well as police protection, police relationship, and as well as family working together.
Awesome, awesome, thank you. All right, our next question comes from Christopher Zachary. He says, we often hear about the need to have more teachers, police, fire, and city workers living in the community they serve. However, cost of housing in the city is no longer affordable. What can be done about this issue?
That's a tough one. But one of the things that I think that we could do, and what I would do as mayor, I would go to the schools in our community, and I would start help recruiting police officer once they graduate and have a desire to become a policeman or a school teacher to live in the community. I will also give them, make incentive for them to also purchase their home, also to live in the community. And I think that's how we have to do it. We have to go and recruit them from sophomore, junior high on up and say, look, if you become a police officer, if you become a teacher, even if you become a city employee, we will have a percentage for you to live in the community. We would like for you to live in the community. And I think that's where we need to start.
I can't agree more with Reverend Shell when he talks about how important it is to have people from the city of Lancaster living and working in the city of Lancaster. We need the next Donnie Morant. We need the next D.C. Summerall. We need the next Sergeant Lopez. Those are just a few of the individuals that are born and raised in this community, graduated from McCaskey, and who are serving in our police department. We need more people like Fredo, who lives around the corner, who serves the city in the Department of Public Works. There are many, many others that I am not naming, but who contribute to the vitality of this city and who know the city like the back of their hand. And I need your help to identify and to talk to people about the careers and opportunities, whether that's through the water engineering technology program at Thaddeus Stevens. You can get trained at Thaddeus Stevens for a job and come and work for us at the city of Lancaster and make a very good living. You want to be a police officer, you can start at almost $50,000 and have a pension that you can retire after 25 years of service. But I need your help in talking to people, young people in your life. Think about who you know and help make that change. We are out at Brightside Baptist Church, at McCaskey, at other community events, tabling and recruiting for all kinds of jobs. And I invite you to help us in that endeavor.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Do we have any questions from we do. We got a couple. All right, so we're going to be here for a little bit. So we're going to do one at a time. Yes, we're going to get the lady in the back. Can you state your name and what area of the city you live in?
Right. I would like to know, Mayor, what would you do to hold the police officers for accountability, the ones that are bad within the police force? What would you do?
Awesome question. The question was for those who are on social media was about what would you do about police accountability?
I really appreciate that question, and I know that that's what I was going to say. What am I doing now? Because that has been a concern that has been raised, and I appreciate that you're bringing it to the forefront tonight. And I will say that it starts at the top. It starts with me, and it also starts with the police chief. And I am very appreciative that we have Chief John Bay at the helm. And he has not come in to warm the chair. He came in as interim, as you might recall, last December, and was named permanent in May. He is doing a complete review of internal affairs and our procedures as it relates to how we address discipline within the department. We also, I can tell you that I have probably signed, and I don't know this to be true, more dismissals for police officers during my time as mayor than maybe any other. And that is not a point of pride. That is an indication that we need to do better for our community. And that is why I have Chief John Bay who is working beside me to implement the changes. There are a lot of good police officers that serve this city, and there are some that need to move along, and we've been helping them do so.
What would I do to discipline the police? Was that the question? Number one, let me just say that as working in Armstrong for many years, worked at the in the union, accountability is very important. And I think that we have to look at police officers as not so much of a high standards, but they should hold a certain standards when it come down to them, how they handle themselves with the community, and once complaints are filed against them, I think that we have to move forward on those complaints and make sure that those complaints just don't be swept under the rug, and make sure that they are held accountable for whatever action that is taken. And that is one of the things that I would do. And when we come across a bad apple, then they need to be discharged.
We had another question from the gentleman beside Ms. Darlene. Please state your name and what part of the city you're from.
On the west side of the city, Cabbage Hill. My question is, we have industry coming in, and we also have contractors. And the contractors that are here, are they in the city or not in the city? We have people in the city that is not trade savvy. What is the city going to do, or how can the schools help the city get our young people trade savvy to do these jobs?
One of the things that I would do as a businessman myself over 40 years, again, if someone was coming into the city and I was in charge of they doing a construction job or rebuilding, they would have to hire a certain amount of people from the city, even if it meant training them in order to receive the contract. In my business, I hired people from the city, from the mission, that didn't even know how to ride a bicycle. I taken them, I trained them, and today some of them are driving Red Rose Transit Authority, some of them have their own business. And I think that as mayor of the city, that would be part of the agreement, that you would hire a certain amount of people from within the city and train them. Because when you write a contract, every contractor, when they write up their contract, they have a certain amount of overrun anyhow they can use to help train a certain amount of people.
You might know that the city is one of 7 communities across the country that received $11 million to remediate and remove lead, which is a poison that harms our children for life. And as part of that process, we need a lot of contractors. And we've been doing training for city residents to be lead inspectors and to know how to go in and remediate lead paint in a safe way. And that is just one way that the city is utilizing the talent that we have here in the city of Lancaster to elevate and to create jobs for them. We have a goal of addressing lead paint in more than 700 homes, and every single dollar of that money is coming to the south of King Street. And that is where we need change, because the housing quality in the south of the city is not what it is in the north of the city, and we all know that. And so what we are doing through this grant program and through training and through going door to door and talking to families is not only addressing lead, but also building a kind of workforce that we need to be able to address our housing quality and stock in the city.
Awesome responses, guys. Thank you so much. And we did have one more question all the way in the back, gentleman with the yellow pants.
Hi. Tony Dastra.
Oh, hey, Tony!
Northeast section of town. I'm here to ask some questions related to campaign finance.
Okay.
So candidates can't answer the same question exactly, so I have two separations. The question to you, Mr. Shell, would generally be, as someone who lived in the city for 40 years, what is your opinion and viewpoint on the standpoint of financial influences in our local politics? And maybe I should just let you answer that first before I move on to Mayor Sirachi.
Are you talking about on the local level, the state level, or government level? Well, as far as finance, I just think that it is, I think everyone should have a right to, as long as it's not coming from within the city budget, set aside part of it for their campaign. I think they should be able, as long as they're spending it out their pocket, spending as much as they want.
Deal pledge. I'm going to read the pledge text for the audience here. As an elected representative, I pledge not to take donations from individuals or corporate interests who represent the developer in the real estate industry. I pledge to maintain my integrity in my financial dealings and prioritize constituents over corporate interests and developers. I will not engage in backroom deals that shut out everyday people from decision-making that impacts the future of their communities. I promise to use my power in office to promote a government of and by and for the people. Taking this pledge means I will not accept contributions over $50 from any of the following: corporate PACs, lobbyists, and the executives of developer and real estate companies whose primary business is the developing, owning, or managing commercial and residential real estate. While this may be true for your campaign in 2021 where you've signed this pledge, back in 2017, you accepted $5,000 from Michael Zamias. Michael Zamias being the owner of the Keppel Building, a property developer. With there being contention in the community around the artwork surrounding the project at 101 North Queen in the Barney Ewell Plaza area, how can the public know it going forward, know that we can trust you on this matter when historically you have accepted money from developers such as Michael Zamias, and going forward, what can your campaign do? What can your campaign do to rectify some of these actions that this pledge would say are not proper?
So thank you for that, Tony, and I appreciate that you're elevating campaign finance reform, and we certainly have shared that information publicly, and I'm sorry to say that it's not available online.
Through the county, and we would appreciate if the county made those records available electronically. To the point that you're making about how can we be sure, I think my record stands for itself. So first of all, I did sign that pledge as I was asked to sign that pledge for this round of campaigning, and I have not accepted any contributions from developers. You are implying that because I did accept that there's a shadow or that there's some nefarious aspect of the decisions that I've made as it relates to the library project, which is a project that is operated and that was bid out by the Lancaster Parking Authority. So I'm not sure I'm making the connection. You have your hand up, so let's hear.
Michael Zamias, because I'm being explicit in the connection to 101 North Queen and the public's dissent in the public art project.
Because
I'm explicit.
Michael Zamias doesn't have anything to do with the public art project in Ewell
Plaza.
Impact in the project.
So what I can tell you is that I have not had a
conversation with Michael Zamias or any person related to the Zamias entity related to the public art in Ewell Plaza.
I'm explicitly stating that in 2017 you've accepted donations from somebody who, in the context of the pledge you signed, would fit in a category of persons you today would not accept money from. My question to you is, why the change, and what can you do going forward to make right on things that are now you would not do?
So why the
change? Well, I think that as development efforts in the city have picked up over my first term in office, there were a lot of different questions that were raised, and I have been able to transparently respond to all of those questions that came from through right-to-know requests from Lancaster newspapers and other media sources. And so I don't have anything to hide. And as I was asked for this campaign, it felt important to reassure the public that there really wasn't anything that was going on. There wasn't anything that happened in my first term, and there certainly isn't happening now, except for that there's a lot more development that's happening in the city of Lancaster. And it is raising important questions about who those developers are, what their intentions are, their commitments to the community, what community benefits are coming from the projects that are being proposed in the city of Lancaster. And those are really important questions, and I appreciate that the community is asking for that and is holding us to a high standard. It's how we got UPMC to donate property to HDC to develop 120 units of affordable housing in the northwest of the city, which is not burdened with low-income housing. Thank you, darling.
All right. I don't know if they got your votes yet, but we do have some more questions here on the stream. So Arlene Hassler says, and this is more specifically for you, Mayor Sirachi, why is the 20-story Willow Valley project on East Vine Street good for the city of Lancaster?
Well, that is a very good question to raise, and one that I think a lot of people in this room may have different opinions about, and that's okay. There are a lot of concerns and there are a lot of pros and a lot of cons to the project from the community's perspective, and I'm going to share my perspective, which is that this is a project that is being built on a piece of property that was vacated, that had no historical value, that is being built by right, which is to say that the zoning was in place for them to purchase it, and they are doing it with their own money. It will generate tens of millions of dollars for the school district of Lancaster alone, in addition to the city residents. And that is important because you all pay taxes. This project is coming into the city, and that investment is being made, in addition to an investment across the street at Southern Market Center, which is serving to incubate small businesses from residents in the city of Lancaster to launch those businesses in partnership with assets. And so that combination, I believe, as development projects go, is long-term favorable for the city of Lancaster.
Awesome. This question is for both of our candidates. This comes from the social media stream. This question is from Leonard Gilbert Jr. He says, what is your plan to help the African American community?
Well, let me just say, as an African American myself, and I'm living in the Southeast area, I'm not only just here for African American, I'm here for all peoples in the Southeast area as well as all peoples in the city. I think we all need help, but I do think that African America need more help along with peoples of color, period, especially in the Southeast area. Let me just say that as go back a little bit to the properties on Vine Street. Just as those developers come into the north part of the city, we have vacant buildings in the Southeast area. Those developers could also come into the Southeast area as well and do incubated businesses there that to help the Southeast area as well as the north and the west side of the city.
it took me a little while to, in conversation with many community residents of color, to understand the legacy that I represent as mayor. And it's not that I didn't know the history of what the government has done in this neighborhood in particular, including this parking lot, sitting with Gerald Wilson out here the other day, listening to the history of of what was here before government plowed it down. I know that government has a long and tragic history as it relates to communities of color. And I know that we need to do more and better in the south of the city in particular. And that is why we have prioritized the south of the city in many ways, both in terms of our investments in public works. There have been more streets paved in the southeast in my time than previous. There is more work to be done. We have just renovated Milburn Park that honors and respects Violet Milburn and the woman that she was to this community and what she was to many children, including a colleague that I work with today. And so I understand that there is a lot of head scratching about and concern about what the city of Lancaster is doing to help people of color. And what I would say is that I am here, I am by your side, I am knocking on doors, and we together are going to make the difference we want to see. Not just me, we.
Awesome. So I have a comment/question here, and I'll give you guys some time to think about it. How about a Criminal to Heroes program? Local small-time, I'm sorry, this comment question is asked by Andrew Dixon. He says, how about a Criminal to Heroes program? Local small-time criminals who struggle to find a job. Put them in a training program. Is that something attainable?
Well, let me just say that to the gentleman that one of the things that when I had my business here, I worked with the work release program so that men and young women that was incarcerated, once they got out of incarceration, they had a full-time job. Many of them I went to court for, helped them got to be able to reestablish their license, be able to regain their citizen right. And so that is what I think that we have to do. And that's why it's so important for us to have businesses in the community that we can work with these type of inmates and people that are coming out of incarceration so that we can help transition them from back into society. I've done that through many cases. There were some young people who couldn't even get a job. They went to jobs and once they found out they had a record, they let them go. So they came to me and I worked with them, gave them jobs and helped them be able to reestablish themselves back into society. That's why it's so important to have businesses in the community and businesses that will work with these type of people, not just big investors to come in and build businesses and then leave.
So I would like to hear more about the Criminal to Hero program, but what I can say is that when I was on council, I guess it was about 6, maybe 7 years ago, I advocated for and council passed a policy for the city of Lancaster to ban the box, which means that we are providing second chances to employees at the city of Lancaster who may have had a felony conviction in their past. And I have personally gone to bat for several employees who deserved a second chance, who screwed up and needed either time to get clean, and then they have come back to work with me. In fact, I ran into one gentleman at Giant a few weeks ago who's now back employed by the city of Lancaster, and he was really, really excited to be back. Another employee who has had a really tragic home situation, and that person is also, another chance. And I believe that we need to give our community second chances, and we do that at the City of Lancaster. And I'm really proud of the ways that I have stood with our employees, and would really appreciate learning more about this initiative and how we can do more of that. And I also talked to many businesses who are having a hard time hiring people. How are you screening your applicants? What does your application process look like? Including talking to my own husband about the ways that he can effectuate change where he works too.
All right, we got a question live here from the audience member. Can you state your name and what part of the community do you live in?
So I really, really glad you asked this question, Derek, because I saw that happen across the street with South Duke Street. The city put together a proposal. This is when I was on council, and it totally missed the mark. Like it didn't even come close to what residents wanted, and we scrapped it. And now tonight, I think there's a meeting downstairs to talk about the Duke Street Mobility Project. I'll say that we don't always get it right, but we've established an Office of Neighborhood Engagement. We have 11 vistas that are coming in to work with us in the City of Lancaster next year to help us do a better, even better job of engagement. We've launched the Engage platform, which has received hundreds of comments about things that matter in different neighborhoods, including how we should spend the American Rescue Plan Act. And it's a two-way street. And I appreciate South End concerned neighbors, and I appreciate you in elevating the concerns of your neighbors to the City of Lancaster. We have a Neighborhood Leaders Academy in which we're trying to build more connections into all parts of the City of Lancaster, because not every neighborhood has a South End Concerned Neighbors Association. And so I continue to welcome the feedback, and it is important that we continue to work in partnership to make sure that voices are heard, because we want to set the table, a long table, for all the voices, and make sure that there's language access, which we have also instituted at the city.
Derek, would you repeat that question?
Community and did a plan that kind of was done by the National Housing Authority, and tore down houses. And my question was, how does moving forward we create trust within not just the African American community but the Southeast by having them in the planning process from the beginning and not coming with a plan that you already created and we're just picking out of something that we don't even want. We just gotta pick.
Well, thank you. First of all,
as mayor of the city, I would have an open door policy. I would not just start in my year of election trying to engage the community. From the time that I'm elected, the door will be open to the community. And because I live in the community, I will have more community meetings throughout the city. Let me just go back and state one of the things that I heard the mayor said, that she blamed government for the Southeast area for not getting the attention that it should have. I don't blame federal government. I don't blame state government. I blame local government. We are the one to make sure that the Southeast area get the same amount of attention that the other parts of the city gets. So this is why, if I'm mayor, we all would be at the table and we would all get the same attention, not just certain parts.
I take it we got a question in the audience. Miss Darlene, can you state your name and the part of the city that you represent?
Southeast area. Mayor, we talk a lot about affordable housing, and we know that as NAN, we've been addressing gentrification in our neighborhood. You know, when we have a house on the 200 block selling for $250,000 today in the 100 block. And anyway, what about economic development? You know, we can't just say everything's affordable housing. We need to address economic development, especially in the southeast area. And we need to also look at, we say there's all this money coming in through the city. Now we're talking about, we're going to support Afro-Americans. We're going to support the Southeast. You're in a position right now, there's a project sitting before City Council, sitting before you for South End Concerned Neighbor to own a building. Not only just develop a building, one that would be owned by this community to help us. And you have the opportunity to fund that. And yes, it's going to address housing. And when we look at priorities, affordable housing does not make stronger neighborhoods alone. So as we say, stronger neighborhoods are a priority. And we just can't be based on affordable housing all over, because we all sit here and know there's 10 projects that went through the city right now that build houses that maybe gave us 20 affordable housing units. When we look at Redlands, when we look at Landis Valley Homes, I'm telling you, you said tonight that you are going to invest in the neighborhood, you're going to look after Afro-American people. There's a plan before you. Will you fund it? The money is in City Council, you have it. Reverend Shell, if you were elected mayor, would you fund the plan that was presented before you? Even there's no other plans on the table, we're putting $5 million into a housing project. We don't have plans yet, but here's something that's ready to go. It's not looking to be designed. The neighborhood has designed it, and it's ready to go. Would you fund that if elected mayor? So the question's to both of you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Darlene. As mayor, a plan came to me when I know that it's going to benefit this area, southeast area, and there's no other plans. I would have no reason not to fund that plan and make sure that it will move forward.
So Darlene, thank you. You are nothing but tenacious, and I appreciate that about you, because you also are responsible for working with Thaddeus Stevens to bring new affordable housing to Chesapeake Street. And that is also going to include an incubator space for business, if I'm not mistaken, yeah? So you're doing it, and I see, and I appreciate that. And I know that you have, I understand the proposal related to Hub, and I need you to sit down, which I think we're meeting next Tuesday, to present the full plan that includes the affordable housing component. You also know that these projects are going to need to go through City Council, and I know you've talked with all the City Council members, and you were just at Council the other night and the week before, and I appreciate your advocacy. And so I look forward to working with you to make it happen. I think that there is a process that is still being developed, so I cannot speak on behalf of City Council for what that process is going to be. We are working through that as we speak, and when we have that process, because I'm committed to transparency, we have to make sure everybody knows how this is going to work, and I know that you will be at the top of the list.
Now, they give $5 million of it to affordable housing at the next City Council meeting.
But who runs affordable housing? The home fund? Is that where the money's going to be transferred to?
No, some of this money is going to be used for affordable housing as well.
Right. But I'm saying the vehicle that hands out affordable housing money in the city now, is that called the home?
Yes. We have new money.
Right. I understand all about the new money. But you're saying you're going to move 5 of that to affordable housing. Who's going to administer? Is it home? Is the money going to be shifted to home funds? Because now I think the only ones that get home funds is soccer development in the Southeast. They get home funds. You used to get home funds, Darlene, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
That's what all the chodos, we created chodos just to be able to get some of that money.
We just recertified.
Brightside created, a chodo to build the houses right here on the side. Christmas Addicts did the exact same thing because we didn't have a community housing development organization. That's what chodo stands for. So we had to create those. So we did get money back then. When we had the mayor when we had somebody who was really invested in our neighborhoods. The money came through community development block grant funds. That's what I was talking about. The money is taken away but never put back. You just keep saying the new money. How much money they already have? There's over $1 million sitting in home funds right now. Am I correct?
No.
How much is there?
We granted the entirety of the home fund. Yes, and there is new money that is coming for home dollars, but we haven't gotten our allocation yet.
Spent in the Southeast. I think it was maybe 300 to soccer possibly.
No, it was more than that.
Because we also funded Partners with Purpose, which is working in the Southeast, as well as SACA. Partners with Purpose, which is, it's through Barb Wilson and the Lancaster City Housing Authority, and there's an organization that is the nonprofit sister to the Lancaster City Housing Authority.
Yeah, so you heard of them.
Okay, but yeah, I heard of them.
Yeah.
I heard of all that, but I'm okay. Get her. I'm not gonna get. I'll talk one-on-one maybe possibly. I don't know about the answers. You keep saying. I'm just saying. I think there was some. I just assume every year we get the money from County Redevelopment Authority.
Yes.
Comes to the city.
Yes.
You put some in home funds.
Yes.
So people apply for
And
it.
that was applied for, and all of that money was granted. $2.4 million.
And we are expecting another allocation, but I don't know how much money it is yet. Jess, am I right about that? It's 6.8 million. Yeah.
No numbers, but I'm just saying though. So there is going to be money available, and she says she has a project almost ready to go. I don't know where the stage you're in.
We're ready.
But I don't want to get off base and hold up, but Kimo, we was there 20 years ago with your project. They said you couldn't build a 6-story building in Cabbage Hill. Mm-hmm. Now they're building 20 right across the street from where you said. And they denied you.
Well,
I know what I'm saying. So what happened was they went to city council, the big developers gave the money to city council people who was running, and they changed the rules. Now you can build higher up. Kimo, you couldn't do that when you had a project and money. You was using your own money. You didn't ask for a penny. But was denied. You can't build a building over 180 feet or something like that at the time. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just. I know, I'm let go. I need to put you out there, Kimo. So I can put your business in the street. You had millions of. I wanted to ask for the residents, not for myself. Yes. I know the answers already.
All right.
Every question I ask, I already know the answer to. So, I mean, But Kimo, yeah, you had millions on the table.
All right. Well, thank you for that lesson in history and political action. Yes, the history of the Southeast. And you know what? That is something that people are talking about around here. The Southeast has contributed so much to the city that nobody really knows or appreciates. And, this end has kind of all been left out. So shouts out to all of you community members for representing the Southeast as you do. This will be our final question in the back. Yes, ma'am.
That would set some money aside for homeowners for a facade program so people can fix their front, because there are seniors that cannot afford to do anything. And there should be some type of program that can at least give a small amount of money to help homeowners to fix their front. because they have the facade program on James Street, but never in the Southeast.
Yes.
Never in the Southeast. And I've been fighting about this for years. And they need to bring it in the Southeast, not on James Street.
Eric, you want to say something about that?
No, I tell my friend they don't know. We have had a facade program.
Yes.
But once that, well, we found that money. Southeast in the residence. With our SOBI program, we found that money with our Elm Street program. I know we had to get signed off as the city came on as a collaborative, only because it had to be passed through the city.
Yeah, Ms. Wright, I'm with you.
But we do need some more facade money. That money.
And I want to go beyond facade improvement. I want to go to more critical repair. I know that one of the property owners that we're dealing with, that we're helping right now, has holes in her roof and buckets, collecting rainwater. That's not acceptable. So we need to do more in terms of critical repairs inside the house, as well as the front, the paint, the porches, all the rest of it.
What about Judiata Street? What about Ann Street? What about Marshall Street?
And I'm right with you. I think that we have had this conversation about expanding the critical repair program, and we want to use these ARPA dollars in a way that we can do that. And so that is on the list. This first investment could include an allocation to additional critical repair programs. That's something that we're discussing with council.
There are so many people in our neighborhood that own their homes, and we don't do anything to preserve these homes or to help them. The city had a homeowner repair program for many years where homeowners could get help, not just with their roof, not just with their heating, and that program went away. And the only thing we got is critical repair that will address roofing and your furnace. But there are other issues and aspects that homeowners are facing. You know for a fact that none of that COVID money went to help a homeowner with their taxes. None of that COVID money went to help pay their utilities. You had to be a renter. But all this money that came in to the city to help people, it helped renters. There was nothing that was allocated or set aside for a homeowner. If you got behind in your taxes because you had COVID or you lost your job behind COVID, you're now looking at a situation where you could be losing your house. But for renters, they stopped, you couldn't be evicted. But they have nothing out there to help homeowners. We keep talking about critical repair. There is much need to preserve what we have left in the southeast area and in the city. We're looking at new development, but we need to do some preserve a lot that's yet here.
I agree with you, Darlene. And I think that there has been a lot of money that has come to renters, and there's literally $50 million at the county to help people who are behind in their rent and in their utilities. And I appreciate what you're saying in terms of tax relief and for homeowners. And the critical repair program is important to help people preserve the integrity of their home. And yet I also understand that there is the tax burden. And I also just want to say, this community has stood with me as we have been fighting for the structural reforms that we need in Harrisburg to have more equitable taxes. And we have another shot at it with the School District of Lancaster and the case that is going to the Supreme Court for fair funding. And I urge you all to continue your advocacy, because while I have attempted to make inroads in Harrisburg, it has not been successful. They do not want to give us the tools that we need that will alleviate the burden of property taxes in the city of Lancaster. It wants to hinder this community because we are hemmed in now with only having one tool, which is property taxes that council can raise. And that's why they've gone up so many times since we've all lived here. We need different tools. We cannot continue to be the poorest and highest tax burdened city in our county, a very rich, wealthy county. Why do you think that is? You all know why that is. We have to continue to advocate, and I thank this community for standing with me to say that is not okay. And look, Senator Martin, what did he do? He packed up and moved. He went to Strasbourg. He's not even here representing us.
Awesome, guys, awesome. And unfortunately, we are running out of time. Do we want? Okay. All right.
Let me just say on there, when it comes down to critical repairs for the homeless, for people that are in their homes, as well as I heard a statement about Keith and his building his project. These are the things that's why I'm running, because of people like Keith who have been trying to build a project here for the last 20 years and was not able to get the support from the city. And it's not because he did not have the funds, a lot of it because of he's a black man in this city. I've written a book in 2015 called And I'm Still Standing. And when I had my business, one of the things that came was stated to me that they did not want me to have my business because it was too big for a black man. And this is what happened in this city so many times. So that is why I'm running, so that all of us will be able to have the same opportunity regardless. You know, as long as you got the funds, you got the plan, and you got the engineered, the capability of building it, I feel that you should be able to build your business. The other thing that I would, as a mayor, I will make sure that there are funds for not only just to repair the roof, and put a new furnace, but go into the house and inspect and see the needs. Someone have built their, purchased their home, worked, and all those years now on Social Security, getting a very low income. Sure, they need help. They need help. And I think as a city, as the mayor, we can do that. I know I will do that, and I will make sure there are programs in place that will be able to help these people to be able to stay in their home and live a comfortable life.
All right, we're going to try this one more again. Okay, so as we wrap up this evening, I want to thank all of our audience members for coming out this evening. It was a really nice night. Thank you for asking your questions, whether you did it here live or you did it on the feed. I also want to thank NAN, especially the National Action Network here in Lancaster. Shouts out to you guys. You guys are actually that quote about people making change and concerned citizens making change, and that's really the only way that change has ever happened is because of concerned citizens. So that is you guys, and thank you. In Lancaster, we are all so lucky to have you all here and a part of our community. So as we are wrapping up, I do want to take our final closing comments from our candidates.
First of all, I want to thank Whitney for the moderator. Let's give a great job. I want to thank Nan, amen, for putting this event together. I also want to give Mr. Chat a big hand for making sure that I was here. We want to thank Christmas Attic for opening up their doors. Thank TCP Network. Great job, and I just want to say to them, continue until you get to be just as big as NBC or ABC. We want to claim that on your behalf so that you won't only be on stream, but you'll be a live television one day. I also want to thank this great audience for indulging my comments. Amen. But I want to say to you, if you elect me as your next mayor, there will be some changes. I will make sure that this city, all parts of the city, get equal share. I will make sure that everyone have the same opportunity to be able to grow together. As I stated in my opening, as I also state here again, and I hope that it will sink deep into your heart. As the late Dr. Martin Luther King said, unless we all grow together, we all perish together. We're city can grow. We're city that has great opportunity. Here and in the southeast area is just as many opportunity is in the northeast. All we need is have someone that will make sure that they are at the table during these times. So I ask you, come November the 2nd, tell your family, tell your friend, tell your grandmother, tell your brother, if they get them out to vote. The last date to register is November the 18th. Thank you. October the 18th. Thank you so much.
Just real quick, I want to echo the thanks to everybody who made tonight possible and for coming out to join us tonight and for watching online. We appreciate your interest. We want you to be engaged in your city, and we definitely want you to come out and vote on November the 2nd. I also want to say it is really, really important that you not only consider who you're voting for mayor, but also the judges. These individuals are critical to maintaining voting rights in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. They are critical to maintaining and advancing judicial reform and many, many other issues that are so important. And I'm going to read their names off. I had the opportunity to meet Judge Lori Dumas yesterday for the Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court. We have Judge Tamika Lane for the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. We have Judge Maria McLaughlin also for the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. And these women deserve your vote. In addition, we have Judge David Spurgeon for the Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court. These judges are hugely important to this community and every community across the Commonwealth. Please, please, please get out and vote for them. And also don't forget your council candidates, and I think there's going to be an opportunity to learn more about our council candidates with another upcoming forum, I believe. Let me also just conclude by saying thank you. It has been an honor, an absolute honor to serve as your mayor for the last 4 years. And it has been hard. And I have stood with many of you, locked arms on the streets, picking up trash, collecting litter throughout the neighborhoods, working to address litter by making sure we're installing trash cans, making sure that when you call the police, that the police are coming and they're there to serve you. That we are working hand in hand to make this neighborhood what you want it to be, the best that it can be. And let me also just say, it's also pretty bleep, I'm going to expletive, excuse me, Reverend, awesome already. We have wonderful neighbors in every community, every corner of the city, and it is truly my honor to serve as your mayor. Thank you. And please vote November 2nd.
Can I have your attention? I just like to say that if anyone here that would like to have a pamphlet or a poster or a yard sign, you're free to take one with you from the table. Thank you.
I didn't even have a chance to ask all the questions that were here. Like, it got really deep, and I'm just like, I can't get to all the questions.
I had to stop there because he was going to get into discussion and debate. No.
Right.
I talked to them in the office, totally different. Asking questions in public forum, and they're being videotaped, and they're being streamed live.
Did you hear what you wanted to hear today? Or did you get what you came for?
I mean, yes, I did. But I also knew the answers to every question I asked. I just wanted to make sure they were.
Okay.
But yes, it was a great time. I enjoyed all the public comment. You had a great engagement. So yeah.
Well, thanks for coming out.
Good job to the moderators.
Thank you. Hey, yeah.
So, take your mask. Oh, I'm sorry. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming live to you at the mayoral debate. Lancaster here at Christmas Addicts. Next up, how do you feel about the debate, Jack?
I think
Mr. Hunter.
So for me, I think it's super engaging. I think it's needed. Not too many times do we have the opportunity to have a space where people can come in and really express their true feelings, but also get the real and raw honest of our city politicians. So I'm super excited about the race. I'm super excited about just hearing more about each of the candidates. And just honored to really be able to be in this space with some people who really want to see better for Lancaster City altogether.
What do you say to those that are at home that don't get out to these kind of things or don't interact with these questions? What do you say to them?
I think a lot of it is the follow-up. As they said, they have open door policies. Is to really make sure that they're getting engaged. I think the biggest thing is to really make sure that they meet that out. If they're not registered to vote, to make sure that they're getting out there and voting. I think it's October 19th is the last time that there's the deadline to vote, and to make sure that they actually get out on November 2nd and vote. I think that's the biggest thing. There's a power in our vote, and I want to make sure that people are getting out there and expressing that right.
Thank you, Josh. Listen, you hear that? October 18th is the deadline to vote. November 2nd, get out and vote for your mayor, all right? Listen, don't sit around. There's going to be more of these. So come around. We'll be back here in a few minutes, guys. Listen, we're coming live to you from the mayoral debate with Reverend Willie Shell, independent candidate, going against Mayor Deneen Sriracha. All right, so moving on. You guys take it easy. Have a good night. We out.